Hello. Welcome to the How I Became Your Mother podcast. This is your host, Kalila Black, and this is a place where my past meets my future as I share my life story with my future children as if they're already listening. So I hope you, as a listener, join me in not only reveling in the thoughts and lessons and messages, but also putting your energy towards my lovely future children and partner, husband, all of that thing, all of the things, all of the things, all of the things. All right. So we're going to start with the your father update. What's going on with me right now as it relates to hubby? What's alive? How am I feeling? Those kind of things. And basically, I have been dating, going on um, some wonderful, exciting dates. Um, I don't believe I've met your husband, your father yet, but I am getting closer. A lesson that I learned this past week is well, it's not something that I learned, it's just something that I'm remembering, which is that dating is non negotiable. I am going to continue to date regardless of what my circumstances are because I value partnership and I want to make sure that I'm available for what I'm asking for. So I don't have any realty. Um, Let me see. Yeah, well, I mean, I went on a date yesterday with this guy, and it was very calm, casual. It was funny because when we first matched on Hinge, he offered or asked me to drive over to where he's at, which is like 30 minutes away. And then, he's going to plan this date and then we'll see what happens. And I was like, actually, I'd prefer if you met me over here. And he was like, I'm not available for that. And then I said, well, I'm not available to come drive over there. And he said, actually, I can make it work. We can make it work. So we went out on a date yesterday. And I think the biggest takeaway, well, first of all, he's a personal development person. Um, Very attractive, 6'3", buff. I was like, okay, period. But he is also non-monogamous, which I didn't learn until the date. And that means that he doesn't see himself with one person. And so that already is out of my compatibility space. So we were talking and having a lot of stuff in common as it pertains to personal development and dreams and goals, but he is not looking for marriage. So that was that one as that first date, but it was enjoyable. We went to my favorite Filipino place and I smashed the dying fish. Smashed. I love that meal. I get it all the time. So I was happy when he suggested it. Like, yes, actually, absolutely. I love it. So it was fun and all of that. I'm happy about it. I keep on yawning and I'm sorry. It was an early morning today. Today, we got up super early, went to orthotics and prosthetics appointment for your grandmother to get her a new shoulder brace, a new elbow brace, knee, and foot. So it is the day before this podcast comes out, and I'm just wanting to make sure that I maintain my commitment to myself, my commitment to you all, and my momentum with my podcast, my baby, my baby. So let's talk about, let's get down to what we're talking about. And the biggest thing, the spark of this episode actually was, it's two things. It's two things. So There's another young lady who is a caregiver, and we've gotten super close. Um, not like close, not super super close, but she's there for me. I'm there for her. And she said something to me 2 weeks ago when I expressed to her that what's happening is I'm looking for a place for your grandmother. And after we find the place, we're going to move out and I'm going to settle and get my stuff together. And she said, I think that you should fight harder. And that triggered me because, first of all, she has been in the place that as a caregiver for like I think 8 or 9 years, almost 10 years. And I look at where she's come and what she has in these 10 years, and she has built a like, really grounding, consistent life and routine for herself. But it is not the life and routine that I want 8 years from now. So when I started looking at what she was doing and how she's operating and her 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 mentality and all of that, I was like, I don't really want to do that. So I'm not really gonna fully follow in your footsteps because I don't want to fight. Like that's not my gig. That's not my desire. I don't even believe um that that's what the point is of this. Like if I am trusting in God and in my spirituality, I don't think that the way to do that is to fight. Is to be like, you know, grappling and hustling and just this heavy, heavy chip on on my shoulder. But it sat with me because I was like, I always want to take feedback, and I'm like, is this an area that I have a blind spot? Like, is this something that I should be considering? Like, am I wilding? You know. So then yesterday, I listened to two readings from this woman who I really respect. I feel like her interpretation of tarot is something that aligns with my interpretation of spirituality in general. So I look to her readings to affirm and validate what I already know and to just kind of like give me that confidence boost to keep going. So I listened to two readings, and one of the readings is like, you are basically saying that I have convinced myself that everything is okay and that um is an illusion. That I am in a complacent spot and that it is not beneficial for me. And the other reading said something similar, like said I had backed up anger and that I'm so used to maneuvering in a way that I think would be diplomatic or positive or optimistic that I'm missing the other part of it. And I'm like, I'm listening to this and I'm like, is this real? Like, are we dead serious? Like, what's going on right now? Like, why? I feel like last year was a fight. I feel like the year before that, I feel like ever since your grandmother had the stroke that I have been fighting by default. Like it feels like that already. So to hear that I'm not doing enough in that way was like really disheartening. And I'm like, should I be taking this seriously? Like, am I bugging? So I went to bed, I slept on it, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make sure that I meditate in the morning and get more grounded on it and see what comes up. And if I have clarity, validation, affirmation around doing more, then I'm going to do more. So I wake up this morning, I do some meditation, and then I'm like, all right, God, like why would I get these messages from these people? Like, why is people telling me that I need to fight? Like, what's going on? And I pulled my own cards and I pulled And the way I did this was like I kind of give it a choice. So I'm like, all right, let me know, God, if what I'm doing is, if the way that I'm operating right now is beneficial, or if I need to look at things in a different way. So I said, I pulled two cards. One card was like, stay the way it is right now. The other card is like, figure something new out. So the card that I pulled that said, stay the way things are, was the 10 of Swords. And the 10 of Swords represents like um, friction, tension, hardship, uh, like a like defeat, kind of like a weakness, helplessness. And then the card that I pulled out that said do something new is the Magician. And the Magician card is the card that embodies the part of manifestation where it's like think about what you want and put it out there first. And so I had to sit back and I'm like, obviously the cards are telling me that I need to put on my magician's cap. And I'm going back and forth with myself like, well, I I already know what I'm waiting for. I know what I want. I'm looking for an income that is lavish, that is supportive of my gifts and my value. And I'm looking to put my mom in a place, and I'm looking for my own self to have a place. So what else is there? And then I started thinking about all of the things of like what usually works in my life. Um and I realized that me as a master manifester, I always have a target first. Like I always have a target first. But as I'm sitting in this space right now, it's feeling more helpless, like more like, okay, until the waters clear up, I'm gonna just sit here till the waters clear up. And I'm realizing that the guidance I'm getting is that I have to be in this active space of intention, alignment, and manifestation so that the next thing comes. And I also need to have a target. The other thing that really, really kept on screaming loud, which is the title of this episode, which is like, nobody is coming to save me. Like, I have to save myself. I have to save myself. It can be so easy as a spiritualist and as a believer to wait on God and to like be like, all right, obviously this is not working right now. So I'm gonna wait till God gives me something clear. But that's actually going against the way it works. Like it always works because of the way, the kind of environment we live in. It's always going to be the intention, the desire first, and then the support of God next. Like God, his angels, the ancestors, everybody is waiting to assist. Like everybody is in it, is like, y'all ready? But I am the boss in terms of movement. So for example, the whole faith without works is dead. So I'm like, I'm having faith. OD. I'm like, oh, he's gonna have my back, and he has. He has had my back. I'm here. I'm healthy. Mommy's healthy. There's been no sickness. We live in um we have clothes, food, support. I mean, I'm even having support from my homies, all of that. But the works around what I want next has been kind of mild because for me, it feels like I've been in a place of unknowing of like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? And I realized that that's a disempowered place because nobody knows what they're supposed to do. That's the point of life. Like we got to figure it out. You got to step into it. You got to try. You got to shoot your shot. It's not about waiting to see what the right path is. It's about walking down the path and seeing if it's the right path. And so I started thinking about the this in order for me to like let this stuff sink into my body and in my ears and my mind. I try to think about stuff in my past life, like not my past life, but past situations in my life that mirror this. And I'm like, whenever I got to a place where I get something that I've desired and I want it, most of the time I knew what I wanted and I was targeting it. Like The Lion King, I targeted them. When my overseas gig, I targeted. I was targeting them. I was auditioning for them. I was figuring out. I was aligning up with it, and I'm like, well, as of right now, what am I lining up with? I'm lining up with everyday stuff. Like, okay, gotta feed and clothe mommy. Gotta make sure she's good. Gotta make sure I'm good. Make sure the home health aid is paid. But like, I feel like I was waiting for the home to become available before I make any other desires or needs. And I think that the guidance I'm getting is that those two are not related. In order for me to keep going, I'm still the one that's in the driver's seat. I have to drive. We have to drive forward. So I was thinking about, for example, when I wanted to move and find a place for mommy, I looked up places in the area. I called them. I made appointments. I went to go see them. I talked to them. Like, I'm like, God is going to put me in this place. I'm going to do the work to find it. I'm going to apply and it's going to work out. I haven't been doing that as it pertains to the next steps over here because of the uncertainty. And feel like I'm saying uncertainty, even though to me now it feels like an excuse. It feels like something that I have allowed my brain to swindle me into, which is like, okay, confusion. When it's like, that's literally what faith is giving confusion. It's always going to give confusion until it comes out. But it's like, what do you want? What are you working towards? The other thing, or another example, is when the fact that I wanted to have a toned body and I want to be flexible. I go to yoga. I put the time on. I figured out a class. I learned it. This is something that I wanted, and now I'm seeing it. Now, the works still had to happen. The faith is always there, but the works is there. Nobody is coming to save me. So, I want to say that this feels like it got away from me because I think that my circumstances are already so heightened that I'm leaning back on them feeling like I'm doing mad work when it's like, listen, niggas, people aren't taking care of their families for real. Like, you got mad stuff on your back. So obviously you are working. Obviously you're doing the faith with works. And I'm like, when I look a little closer, I realize that's not what's happening. It's a lot of busy work. It's a lot of soothing. It's a lot of fun things to keep me energized and well, but it's not a target towards a specific path. And I think a part of me is like, oh, because I want to leave things open, but that knowing what the creative process is, and I say the creative process as in the manifestation process, as in the law of attraction process, as in the way things work, is that you think a thought and then you have emotions around that thought, and the emotions pick up momentum, and then the thought turns into whatever the thing is. And that works both ways, whether that's like, oh, I think I'm going to be broke. And then you start thinking about not having money and what it looks like and why everybody else has money and how come you, and then you realize you don't have, you just continue to not have money. Or the other way, like, oh, okay, I want to be like a director in a huge box office, huge film. Well, you do whatever you need to do, whether that is learn how to direct. Maybe it is figuring out what pathways is closest or most aligned with your pathway to become a big film director. Maybe it is studying other ones, but there's something that is aligned with what you want that is adding the momentum. And the other point that I want to make about this is the mindset is different. When you're in a mindset of waiting to be saved, the overarching thought is that you are a victim and that you need saving. And that place, operating from a victim place, gives you a lot less power, a lot less confidence, and a lot less oomph than a space where it's like, okay, I know what's next. And even if I mess up right now, I know I'm going to get a hint on how to fix it, or I'm going to get a hint on what the actual next move is. Like, and now, and it's funny because I'm such a doer that sometimes when I'm learning and reminding myself around faith and trust, I think that the way to do it is to not do. But when I listen to Abraham Hicks and I also review my life, I realize it's there's always going to be action. It's about aligning with the action, choosing. It's about choosing and then aligning with the action. And I realize that I haven't chosen because I'm like, somebody going to save me. Somebody's going to save me, you know? So what I was thinking that I was doing something like, okay, if you moving and you action and you actioning so much, then it's like slapping God in the face because I'm trying to tell him how to do his gig and I'm trying to do this and that, when actually it's not God's gig to direct our life. And I keep going back into that. It's not his gig to say this is the path that you go on. It's our gig to say this is the path that I want to go on, and then we hear the feedback from him, yay or nay. And the other part is it's us choosing the path should be based off of our ideals of what God wants. And that we can tell based off of how we feel, how if it's aligned with with the vision. You know what I mean? And I want to make one more distinction. I think the biggest difference is in realizing or like discerning where God is. So the former, when the way I've been operating over the past few months, which is God is going to tell me what to do. I'm going to figure it out. Like I'm going to get some sort of sign that actually places him a lot further away from me. It's like he's outside of me. Once the circumstances happen and change, then I'll know how to move and then I'm going to fall in alignment versus the actual spirituality and principles that I've learned, which is he's within me, that I have access to know what my next steps are already because of the closeness. God is within my inner being, he's within my spirit, he's within my soul. And so if I align and listen, then I will know the path that is most aligned, but I have to move. I have to take that action, take that aligned action in order to get to that point. It's not about waiting. That's the life is still going. This is my part. This is my chance. It's like we're up to bat. We're behind the wheel. It's like we're ready. The what is it? The gun has already blown off. It's time to go. It's time to go. Nobody is coming. Now, I don't want to confuse myself or you in making it seem as if in order for things to happen to me in a way that feels good and progressive and like optimistic, that I have to work hard and I have to like hustle. But the stagnancy, the frozenness, the little baby steps, the tipping out, the waiting, the victimization, even though my circumstances are lit, like what I'm going through is real. Being alone, doing these things, carrying this, it's real, but it is also something that I did. It's something that I targeted. It's something that the path that I chose to go down. So now that I'm seeing, okay, this is a new path, I get to walk down another path with the same fervor, the same energy, the same intention that I did this path, because that's what it takes to get to the next point. So I am wanting to make sure that you are aware that yes, God is going to be there. Like, and even once the aligned action is taken, that's when the miracles come, because it's like, when, in order for you to take aligned action, you have to have faith on it. But the miracles are not just going to come while you're standing still. The miracles are not going to come while you're waiting and calling yourself a victim and feeling like, oh, and what was me? Like, that's just not how it works. The laws work in the other way. You have to move, you have to choose, you have to show. So I'm releasing this waiting idea. I'm releasing this victim idea. I'm holding space for how difficult this is, for how nuanced this is, for, you know, all of those things. But the main thing I'm doing is remembering to forward, forward. The next thing I want to talk about is gratitude. And I feel like I know what I'm going to say. It sounds weird, but it's like I can find so many things to be joyful about, so many things to be happy about, that is something that I soothe myself with, where I'm like, well, obviously he's coming because you are in a luxury apartment. Obviously he's coming because you have those abs that you've been dreaming about since 2016. Oh, of course he's coming because you're dating wonderful people. Of course he's coming because you're getting offers, you have God gigs. And it's like, no, the reason why those things are happening is because I was putting a line to action to those things. It's not because they just happened and I was saved. I have these abs because I work out. I have these gigs because I auditioned. I live in this beautiful apartment because I apply for it and I pay for it, like, so understanding that the things that I'm grateful for, my peace of mind, the reason I have peace of mind is I meditate, I read, I learn, I check balances. Like, it's not something that's necessarily outside of me that is putting these things in me. The stuff that's outside of me is supporting what I'm doing. So I am grateful. Last night I was a little upset to hear it. I was a little, um, I won't say miffed, but it was just like, you want me to fight? Like, I was even gonna have this whole thing around, like, I don't want to, why I'm not fighting and why, and it's like, it's not even really. Oh, and I brought that up about the other caregiver because I realized that it was semantics. I don't know. When she said fight, I thought that she meant hardship and like, and the world is against me. But I think what I'm now taking her to mean is act. What do you want? Move forward. Go after it. If it's not working, figure out something else. Like, no, understand that I'm smart enough, I'm capable enough, I'm resourced enough to find out what's next. But me standing still is only going to pause the action because I'm in it. I'm the only one that's driving. This is my world. I'm the center of the universe, the same way you're the center of your universe. So I'm now wanting to say that I'm grateful. First, I'm grateful for y'all listening to me come up with these thoughts and share my world. And I don't know if that's helping you to realize that there's more to be done. There's more work to be done. And the way it aligns with God is making sure it's work that is under the umbrella of the gifts, of the path, of the movement and momentum that God and I have agreed on. It's not me waiting for him to drag me along. The biggest takeaway that I want you to have, baby, is to know that you're always in the driver's seat of your own life. And even though life can feel and sound and behave insane, insane, the day mommy had a stroke and I became her full caregiver, I also got COVID. I also found out that the Nala who was on Broadway wasn't going to be there anymore. So then it was Nala auditions. It was like a whirlwind of things. Life is going to happen, but because life is happening, that doesn't mean that we get to stop because until we move, until we act, until we drive, we're going to stand still. That's it. No one's coming. No one is coming to save us. No one. And now for the next segment, which is 36 questions to make you fall in love. This is a very popular New York Times article that was written to very, very specifically get the vulnerable, more deep questions that will allow your spirit to connect and fall in love. And I love doing these. I think that they're so cool. So today's question is, what is your most treasured memory? Now, I make it a point to document and archive my memories and my stuff. And I have a lot, so I don't want to say one, but I'm going to say the first one of the memories that I've been thinking about lately. And I don't know if it's because I don't know why, but it's been coming up. So this is a memory from me being in summer camp, and I won't forget this because this particular time, forgive me if I start crying because it's very touching, but this was one of those times during the summer where I was going to summer camp, and this happened to be a time where mommy, your grandmother, was on a very large binge of drugs. And so I didn't even have everything that I needed to go to camp. My cousin, my older cousin, one of my first cousins, she took care of things. I think she took me to the camp. She helped me get where I was supposed to go. She picked up the slack, but I wanted to set that tone because that's how I arrived at camp. I arrived at camp um unprepared and really, really jarred because my mom wasn't around and I knew she was using, and it was just very difficult. But when I got to that camp, I was put in this cabin with these wonderful girls, and it was for, I think our session was for it was either 4 weeks. I think it was 4 weeks or three or whatever. It was either a month, whatever. But during that time, what was happening was we were the last age of campers that could go to camp. The next year up, you would become a junior counselor. And I wanted to be a junior counselor so badly. I got close to the girls, and I've always been the kind of friend that want to talk about deep stuff and get all deep. And there was a girl in our cabin who she was on the spectrum, and she was being bullied, and so I was helping her out. Then we had these, it was just a lot of drama, and I was always the one being the mediator, all of that. And then there was this book called A Child Called It that I had heard about and I wanted to read about. I was fascinated with it. Very deep book, very, very deep book of a mom uh and a mom abusing her kid. And when I think back about it, the reason that that book resonated with me so much was because it put my own issues with my mom into perspective, because this young boy wasn't even called his name. She abused him and called it, and she was just horrible. So I was thinking, when hearing about that book, I was so interested in it. And the way we would find out if we got chosen to become junior counselors next year was at this big bonfire ceremony, and we would get this award, right? And even though I had wanted it, I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't know that I was going to get it, because even though there was women, girls in my cabin who were on the spectrum, there were also other girls who were cool. They were cool. And when my name was called, I went to my counselor. First of all, she called my name, and then she bought me the book that I wanted. She bought me A Child Called It. And I talked to her and I was like, "Oh my god, like I'm just so surprised." And she was like, "Kalila, like you're such a phenomenal girl. You have such a big heart. You would be perfect to be a counselor. Like we trust you. You follow the rules. You're clean. Like you're perfect for it." And I just felt so seen. I was so happy because I was really in a bad place because the last time when I left, I didn't see my mom. And I just remember feeling so seen and so loved. And like that was one of the biggest times where I knew that even though things were happening out of my control back in my life, back in New York, or well, we were still in New York, we were upstate near Albany, but back in the Bronx, I could still craft my own really, really happy life outside of that. And I was just so happy. It just made me feel so good. It also was like my first um validation and affirming space around coaching because I was the one holding round tables like, all right, let's talk this out. What's your problem? Like I've always been that coach and I just felt so seen. I can't wait to find that lady again, my counselor. Like she doesn't understand how just she saved me that summer, man. She saved me. Ooh, hold up, I'll be right back. Ooh, okay. Emotional, honey. Emotional. That was deep. Okay. So if you only remember one thing, you are the driver, you are the savior. You got to keep going. Make sure if you're feeling bad, take your break, take your rest, go down the pity road. But after you're finished with the pity road, pick your bootstraps up and keep going. Figure out the path and run towards it. Run towards it and know that God is right alongside you. And to you, other listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this moment. I really appreciate you for allowing me to be vulnerable. And if you listening, can you leave a review, a comment, a text, something? Let me know you hear it so I can keep going. It makes me feel good. And another thing to you, my baby, I want you to remember that I was thinking of you, planning you, learning, growing, and preparing a world for you to thrive in. And I can't wait to see who you become. We're doing this together, and I feel grateful to be your mom. Even before I've met you, I know you're amazing. I know you're amazing. So thank you for being you, for being great, and for listening. And I will definitely see you next week. Bye.